Good morning, and thank you so much for sticking with K24. We appreciate your company. Karibu sana to another social hour with me, Shiko Kaitani. As always, looking out for you on our social media platforms at K24 TV on Instagram, Facebook, as well as X. You can see our WhatsApp number scrolling at the bottom of your screen should you wish to contribute to our ongoing discussions right here on K24, as I always like to say. All right, so today we've got a good one for you because we want to talk to you about what you're investing in. Very crucial discussion because very many of us still are in the gray about what do I do? Where do I put my money, right? Well, as the tag says on, of course, your screen, it's all about how to start investing in gold. And that's because this precious metal actually cuts across cultural boundaries. And if you think about it, throughout history, it has played numerous roles. And it's no wonder why investors consider it a one-of-a-kind asset. Gold, if you think about it, is one of the best-known items of value in the world. And my guest today is here to convince you just why you need to put your money where the bling is. I'm so happy to be welcoming the founder and the CEO of Aufort, that is Bert Ken Rodberg, here with us today. Bert, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
German, right?
Actually, the family name is German, yes.
So should I say Guten Morgen?
You can say so.
Okay, right. But I still struggle with it. I think it's one of the hardest languages, if you ask me. And I've always tried to be coach on just how to say that simple word, good morning. But it's a mouthful.
It is.
Yeah, Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Okay. All right, welcome to the show. We want to first start off by understanding what you do. I mean, what is Aufort, and explain its interest in the Kenyan market.
Yeah, so maybe let's start with a problem, right?
Yeah.
So there are 54 different countries and currencies in Africa, and in most of the African countries the inflation rates are really high. And also the cross-border transactions or payments between the countries within Africa is quite a big problem. So we are disrupting it with Aufort. So we are a technology platform. We are a financial technology platform, which enables Kenyans and also other Africans to protect their money from the inflation. And also during the same time, they can use it as a means of payment. Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe just to explain why gold is a good investment, you've already talked about how it kind of comes into buffer, when it comes to against inflation rather. Why don't you expound on that and give us the basics? What don't we understand about inflation?
Yeah, so most people have heard about the word inflation, but they actually don't know what it means, right? So let's look at some facts.
Yeah.
Within the last few years, Kenyan shilling has depreciated quite a lot. And this is not only the Kenyan shilling problem, this is the problem for all of the fiat currencies. Euros, dollars, Kenyan shillings, and so on, British pounds. So gold is a very good hedge for inflation. Because it has been used as a currency for a very long time, and it holds its value. So, for example, like Kenyan shilling has lost its value within a few years around 20 to 30%, and during the same time, the price of gold has been risen almost the same amount to 20 to 30%, right? Oh, okay. So let's give you a good example. If you would have like 1,000 shillings in your bank account, right? And you would be saving in that money a few years ago. Yeah. Then today, if you're looking at your bank account, you would still have the same amount, right? But you could buy 20 to 30% less.
Correct.
Because of the valuation, right?
Right.
So, and this is, in my opinion, one of the things that most people don't get it, right? Because it's like a tricky, right?
Yeah.
You look at your bank account, the number is the same. So you haven't like lost
but
anything,
the value,
right?
yes, yeah,
exactly.
of it, has totally changed.
Yeah, and this is the tricky part. And why gold serves the best like protection against inflation is because gold has been used as a money or currency thousands of years. Actually, gold was the first money after the barter barter trading. You know, in the history,
Correct.
there was a barter trading. If you had, let's say, 1 cow, I had 5 chickens, right? And we wanted to make the exchange, we could do it, right? So because it was very difficult to do it, as the economy and socialization grew, then they came up with a solution to start using gold as a means of payment, because it made it everything much more easier.
Fantastic. And I like the examples that you're giving, because what we want to understand is everyday examples of inflation. Give us another example. I want us to really get it. When you talk about you have the same figure, it's almost like it's a trick, but that 1,000 shillings can't do the same thing it did for you 5 years ago.
I will shock you with the next example.
Right.
So one of our early days investors in the company, if he was a small child, then his parents started to collect him money. It was back in Estonia, and it was like around already 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So they calculated that if they put every month aside X amount of money, which they plan to do, then if their son grows up, becomes a grown up, then he could buy a car.
Yeah.
Right. But one thing that they didn't do, they didn't take into account inflation. So what the reality was, if this person became a grown up,
Yeah.
he could buy a new pair of shoes.
That's how weak it's gotten.
And this is the reality, right?
Right.
And this is what happened with the money, with the value of money during these 18
Right.
or 15 years, right?
Yeah, the ups, the downs. I mean, you just never know with it. So what we're talking about is that you coming into the market with a new offering of stability.
We can say so, yes.
Okay, all right. So for the average person, I mean, gold seems like it's an asset for a very niche market. And when now we're here on a national platform talking to your average Kenyan, someone would be asking, okay, who is gold for? Like, who can invest in it? How do I even begin? Even if I'm earning, you know, something between that little bracket of, you know, 10,000 shillings to 100,000 Kenya shillings, if you will. I mean, where's my place in all of this?
It's actually interesting that that most people have the understanding that gold is only for the very rich people and the very selected people, right? Actually, this is not true. Because it's possible to buy gold already with a very small fractions, like, for example, on our platform, it's possible to do it from 0.1 gram, which is around $9, right? So I think most people have the money. Of course, these people maybe who are living on the streets, they would struggle with it, right? But most Kenyans, I believe, don't. So I think people have a bit like a wrong perception or understanding, and maybe it's like a story that has been kept like telling to people that gold is for only very selected and rich people. This is not the case.
Right, right.
Gold is for everybody. And it's not a luxury commodity or a luxury product. It's a necessary product for everybody who understands the inflation problem and who really wants to protect their money from the inflation.
Right. And be honest with me, but now that obviously you're penetrating into this particular market, when we have historically always known that land is really the asset as Africans, are you struggling to change this mindset where people can stop thinking only about land or purchasing land and considering that or property as the asset? How is that going? How's the perception coming along?
Very good question. I've actually thinking about because this is very different what is happening in Europe. Like, it's not very common in Europe to invest in land. Like in Europe, like investing infrastructure is really good.
Okay.
There is a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of like technological solutions that enable really easily to invest in different asset classes. But unfortunately, this is not the case in most of the African countries.
Right.
So I was really like surprised if I heard that in Kenya the investment in land is very like
It's high.
very popular, right?
Yeah.
You know, all of the times I think it's important to ask the right questions. So my first question would be, how liquid is land? So if you would be investing or saving in land, if you would need some part of the money, how liquid it is?
No, it's not, because
Right.
it would take you ages to offset that or offload it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, and there are different similar kind of questions that we can ask for different asset classes, right? So I would say that I wouldn't go into details with comparing different asset classes here with gold, but I would just say that gold is extremely liquid.
Yeah.
Because if you fractionize it, you can, let's say if you buy like I don't know, $100 worth of gold, you can sell $2 of it, right? So you can, it's very liquid, and there is a market everywhere, and it's not only in Kenya, it's in all African countries, it's in Europe, it's in US, everywhere in Asia. So it has a very big usability, and it's extremely liquid, which makes it, in my opinion, one of the best asset classes in the world.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that you will realize when it comes to discussions around investment, you know, anything to do with finances, a lot of people struggle with it because of the aspect of managing it. And I want you to have the bragging rights right now as Aufort. How do you guys come in to help people manage their investments, right? What can you do? Because for me, for example, if I do have the cash sitting around and I'm thinking, okay, all right, BAT has appealed to me, I can put in my $9 or whatever it is that I'm going to put in, but from there on, I need help to manage it. So how do you come in?
Yeah, so let's make one thing clear. Aufort is a technology platform, so we're not dealing with gold ourselves.
Right.
So we are partnering with huge gold companies in the world who have been around for 50 or 100 years.
Yeah.
So they're taking care of the physical gold storage, right? So the gold is in secure vaults.
Right.
This gold is injured. If anything should happen with these big companies, which is very unlikely, but still, just to manage the risks, we have decided to injure it. And then it's also audited by the third parties, right? So and all this information can be found on our platform. So we just enable to fractionize gold, to give it easy access in small quantities, and then you can also use it as a means of payment between the users and between the different regions, right? So it's very easy for people to use the product or service that we have built because they don't have to do anything, right? They just have to choose the favorable amount of gold they would love to have. They can buy it on the platform, they can store it, they can also sell it anytime, or they can send between the users like in small fractions.
Right.
And we take care of the storage, we take care of the insurance. So people have the only thing that they have to do is we have a monthly storage fee, which is 0.04 grams of gold. This is a bit more than $2, which will be automatically deducted every month from the gold account.
Right.
So they don't have to do anything, right? They don't have to take care of the physical gold storage, because this is one of the biggest problems that we are solving with this platform is that, you know, in many African countries are not very secure, right? So, and I think people are not very happy if they would be storing their physical gold at their homes, right? So we take this fear away from them, and we hedge it in different regions of the world, so people can actually choose where they want to hold the gold.
Right, right. Okay, so now that you've already started talking really about the platform, I'm just even trying to understand it a little bit more from a layman's perspective. Okay, let's say I have X amount I want to put in. Help me work through it. So I put that much in. What am I expecting to see on the platform? It will notify me that you've managed to purchase X amount of gold, right? Then from there, what happens? Are we looking at it growing in value? Are you monitoring it for me? What happens next?
Yeah, so in that sense, we don't monitor it. So we just enable or give easy access to gold for all Kenyans, right? So gold has the world market value. So the price is the same in Africa, in Europe, in US, in Asia, and all the other different regions in the world. So we don't influence it anyhow, right? If you would be buying gold on the platform, this price will be changed accordingly to the changes in the world market value, right? So if the price of gold goes up on the world markets, your investment grows. If the price goes down, your investment decreases a bit, right? But in the long run, it's protecting your money from the inflation. And our platform cannot give like any guarantees. You're going to make X amount of percentage per month or year, right? We cannot influence it anyhow. It's the world market price of gold. And the main reason for the product or the service is for people to protect their money from the inflation for a longer period of time. So it's not about, gold is, many people have asked me like, oh, maybe I can start trading gold.
Actually, that's where I was going to go next.
I've said to everybody that gold is not a product for trading.
Okay.
Yeah, gold is a substitute of money. And in some cases, I even like to say that gold is not an investment. Gold is rather acting as a money, which helps you to protect your money from the inflation, right? So, of course, all of the biggest investors in the world have a solid proportion of gold in their portfolio to hedge their risks, because gold is the most stable currency out there. It has been like centuries like that, right?
I like that, yeah. So it's not for trading purposes. What you're saying is safe with it.
Exactly. I don't recommend trading with gold.
Yeah.
Some people who I know are traders, and if they ask their opinion from me, I have suggested if you want to trade with gold, go to some like trading or investment platform,
right,
and do it with the leverage, right? 10x, 20x, 30x, 50x, right?
Yeah.
But in overall, I don't recommend it, because gold is a different asset class, and it's not so much for trading or things like that. It helps you to protect your money from the inflation and use it as a means of currency.
And then in the event, like you had mentioned earlier on, that you do need to access that portion of your gold, like you said, it's so easy to trade it off and then be able to get your money.
Exactly. So what's very important aspect on our platform is that we are the first company in the world who combines gold with blockchain technology and e-commerce.
Okay.
So just to be clear, most people might get it mixed up. If you're using the word blockchain, they might understand that this is already a cryptocurrency.
This is the thing, yeah.
But this is not the thing actually, because blockchain is a database storing technology. And blockchain was there before, and then cryptocurrency is just the first use case of blockchain. So we are just using this technology for the database purposes, so it's transparent and it's secure.
Yeah.
Because on decentralized blockchain database, it's not possible to change anything. So we can't delete any data there. We cannot manipulate with the data. That, let's say you had 10 grams, but we will change in the database that you have 8, right? So we would be stealing like 2 grams from you. This is not possible with blockchain. So this is the reason why we are using this kind of technologies. And the fact where it comes in, like the e-commerce, this is the most seamless user experience. Because with most like investing platforms, the thing is that you would need to make the deposit. So you would be depositing, let's say, 1,000 shillings. And if the deposit is confirmed, you can make your by transaction. We don't have it. Because if we would have it, we would be considered as a financial institution, but we are not. So in the legal terms, we are an online e-commerce business. And then you would be like logging in, you would be adding to the cart favorable amount of gold. Like you would be buying shoes or jeans, for example, from the web shop. This is the same progress on or process on our platform, and you will be selecting different payment methods. And in Kenya, we are already integrated with M-Pesa. So you can really seamlessly buy and sell gold with M-Pesa.
Fantastic. I do believe we've got some text messages that we're going to be sampling. Perhaps we'll take it on the second half of the show. But thanks so much for all those of you who did respond on our social media platforms when we teased this particular discussion. You can see there's a generated interest in this particular topic, and this is because obviously a lot of us are interested in knowing, by the way, what should I be investing in, where should I be saving, even as Bert has put it. Back to you though, when you think about the promotion of gold, and how to save or invest in it, it's kind of taken a backseat to popular alternatives, whether it's stocks and the bonds market. Why do you think so? Why isn't it as popular as the way we hear all about stocks and about bonds and all the other portfolios that are out there?
This is a very good question, and I've been also thinking about it myself. So I think it aligns with the thing that I mentioned earlier. Gold is more considered as a currency, right, as an investment. It doesn't mean that it doesn't serve the purpose of investment. It does. But stocks are for most people like more maybe interesting, because you never know what happens with a stock, because stocks can be very unpredictable, right? So every company usually starts somewhere and it ends somewhere, right? And we don't have a lot of companies who have been out there for hundreds of years, right? So you never know which company might go out of the business at some point, right? And then it's also the question about the liquidity, because let's say if you would be investing in stocks, then if you want to use some money that you have been investing in stocks. You would be selling your stock,
Yeah.
and you need to wait when the money arrives to your account, right? So in that sense, it's not so liquid or fast compared to gold or the platform solution that we have built. So if you have put your money in gold, which will be protected from the inflation, if you want to have the liquidity for a small part of it, you don't have to sell it. You can use it to send to other people without any fees and within 1 second. It works within Kenya and within different countries and regions.
Oh, nice.
We can be, I can be sit here now in Nairobi, and I can send money to Germany or Estonia in gold within 1 second and with 0 fees.
Okay.
Right. Which people can then sell to euros. Local payment service provider integration. So in that case, I just want to give the perspective that gold is in many cases much more liquid, and it serves different use cases compared to different asset classes which are considered very popular investments. Right? So this is the reason why I personally have the opinion that gold is maybe not so good classical investment, rather it serves the like the alternative for money.
Right. The experts like you, people in this particular field, talk about risks that are associated with different portfolios. Investments in general will probably have their downside. And I think that's my next question to you. For gold as an asset, despite it being regarded as safe, in quotes, are there any risks associated to this that you'd like to share with us?
Of course, there are risks everywhere. If somebody is telling you that there are no risks, this person is already lying, right? It's not possible. The question is, what is the risk proportion?
Okay.
Right? So if we're comparing gold with many different asset classes, I would say gold has one of the lowest risks because it has been around for centuries.
Right.
So everybody knows its value, right? So a lot of people have been talking about during the last decade regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, right? It has been a really popular topic. I'm a big fan of cryptocurrencies. I've been in the space since 2018. I see a big future for that, but I understand that there are also quite high risks. So people have to understand that usually if you have high upside potential opportunity, it comes with high risk as well. Right?
Okay.
Gold is quite stable.
Right.
Gold is usually making up to a few percent changes during the day, but in the long run, it's going up steadily, right? So during the last 10, 20, 30 years, gold has gone up remarkably, and it has gone up steadily. Of course, it makes some downturns occasionally, but this is okay. This is how market works, right? So I think that gold has a very good use case and usability with very, very low risks. And I would say the biggest risk for gold is the stealing risk. But this is what we are basically eliminating with the platforms.
Right.
Because you don't have to hold the gold at your home.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So there's nothing tangible that's going to be stolen from you here.
Yeah. So the gold is physical, right? But it's stored in the secure vaults.
Yes.
And in Europe, we operate in 30 countries in Europe. And also we started operations in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates in the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
So also Kenyans have the opportunity to withdraw the gold physically in Europe and also in Dubai. We are currently also looking for partners in Kenya through whom we can withdraw physical gold bars as well, but we haven't found it a real trustworthy partner.
Okay, well, I'm sure now they know because you're here on TV. All right, so Bert Ken Roadberg is here in studio with us. We're really just talking about where you need to be placing your money and why actually there are a lot of benefits when it comes to thinking of gold as part of your investment portfolio. We want to take a short commercial break. Like I promised, we are going to be sampling some questions that came through through our social media platforms once we had teased this particular topic. And so when we get back, we'll be looking at those. But if you would like to also get in touch or throw in your questions, we want to encourage you to get in touch with us through our socials at K24 TV. You can also reach me through my DM as at Shiko Kaitani on Instagram, and then I'll be able to put you in touch with obviously Aufort in regards to this particular discussion. All right, let's take that short commercial break. We'll be back. And welcome back to the show. Shiko Kaitani here with you, talking to you about investing in gold this morning. We're having a great discussion with the founder and CEO of Aufort. We're talking about Bert Ken Roadbug in studio. Welcome back, Bert. We have been encouraging you to just shoot us, either your questions or your comments through our social media platforms, so that, by the way, we can forward these to the experts who will also be in touch with you in case that you do want further consultation on our discussion today. We're really helping you just broaden your horizons in terms of what you would like to do with your money. Bert is here today to convince you about the stability that an asset like gold is here to offer you. But with that, we would like to sample some of the feedback that we did receive on our platforms. Let me ask our director to just put those up on the screen real quick. And then, Bert, let's see what Kenyans have to say. All right, so this is from Menelik Nairobi, who says, what are quick resources to do research on saving in gold? And are there workshops that you conduct? I guess that's as Aufort, what do you do?
Yeah, very good question. So we are doing occasionally like financial literacy events. We're also planning to do weekly webinars where we will talk about why gold and what benefits does it have for Kenyans, and then how the platform works. So we can like guide people really easily through within 1 hour how everything works. And there is a lot of information out there on Google and social media why gold is a good asset class and what benefits does it serve.
Fantastic. Thanks for that question. Another one, please, Madame Dede. Let's see what we have. I believe this was from XCC_J. Thank you so much. You go on to say that I believe that saving in gold has been a challenge for many, as it's not easy to understand. Perhaps any success stories of people who have invested in gold? Nice. Okay. Tell us about the ones who've won big and then now we'll put our money in.
Very good question. I would start with that. There are not many occasions where people are taught about gold. Because if we're talking about investments, usually we're talking about, like Kenya, like we're talking about land, right? We have the stocks and real estate and so on. So gold is not so much, has been like a big topic, right? And we plan to change it because, you know, it has been like an unrevealed secret, right? That has been out there like hundreds of years. Which has actually helped to preserve their wealth for many, many wealthy people in the world. And the reason why many people are wealthy is because they know some secrets, right? And in many cases, secrets are really easy things, but they are like hidden from the public space, right? So we would like to disrupt that, and we would love to start a conversation with people why they should consider looking towards gold, because it has so many benefits for Kenyans and all the other people in the world. So if you would love to see some good example, I could give you an example from my wife, who bought a physical gold bar. It was 100-gram bar. It costed a bit more than 3,000 euros around 5 years ago. Today it's worth around 7,000.
Wow.
So it has gone up almost 100%.
Fantastic.
During quite a short period of time. Right. So this is just one good example how a regular person like my wife is and like most of us are, who can make these kind of decisions. During that time, the inflation in Europe has been quite many percentages. So if she would be kept the money in her bank account, she would have still 3,500 euros, right? But she would be had the opportunity to buy much more less than 3,500.
Correct. Correct.
So this is the trick, right?
This is. So there are a lot of rich people who are not happy that you're here, because now you're now you're giving their secrets away. Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, let's take a look at another text if we do have one. That's Oscar. Yes, thank you so much for that, Dede and Chris. He goes on to say, how quick are one's returns on gold investments? This is the thing about us that you need to know about Africa. It's like, I want my money now.
Yeah.
and this is Kenya for you. They'll be like, if I put it today, do you think by tomorrow it'll be like 100% profit?
I go today and we'll be a millionaire tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've encountered that, right? Everybody wants to know, how fast will it grow? How fast can I cash in on it?
Yeah, so I think if we're looking this question, then I think it really gives a good overview of how most Kenyans think, right? So this is also my experience with many Kenyans, that they're looking for quick returns. Usually in life, the wealth doesn't come easily.
Yeah.
It's also a good saying, what comes easy goes easy, right? So, for example, I can give a good example regarding the Germans.
Yeah.
The Germans are very conservative people, and they're a very wealthy nationality, right? So we can ask what they have done differently compared to Kenyans, for example. So one thing that they have done differently is that they have the mindset that we are not going to get rich quick.
Okay.
We are going to get rich if we have a good plan in the long run, right?
Yeah.
And usually, like German people, they are very satisfied if they put the money in the bank account, and they will get like few percentages as an interest rate per year, right? So it's very conservative.
Yeah.
Like in Estonia, it's very normal to have like 10+% per year, right? So this shows how the nationalities are different.
Yeah.
So one of my wishes to Kenyans is to change the perspective, how people think, because it's not about how fast you can run, but how far you can run, right?
Right.
So I know that many Kenyans are living in only today, right? But to live a good and wealthy and happy and healthy life, you should be thinking a bit more further.
Right. Thanks for that. That's a good tip. I think also one of the things that will, make this a roadblock, so to speak, in terms of perception, is just the way people associate gold with so much fraud in this country. And I don't know if world over you're seeing a lot of increased cases of fraud surrounding especially gold trading and of course now investing. So what would you like to say about that and address that? Because very many people will be skeptical and say, when I think about gold, from the horror stories we hear, it's always about some fraudulent individuals behind it. So this is a good opportunity to talk about that there is clean business behind it.
It is, and you know, we can say to everything, right? There is a fraud in cryptocurrencies, there is a fraud in the lendings, there is fraud in investments and so on. So there are like these kind of people, they're everywhere, right? Yeah. But in what I have understood is that usually these people who are getting in trouble with the frauds is that they are looking for fast tracks and they're looking for quick rich schemes. So if someone gives you or promises you that, hey, do this and you can really make really fast returns, then it's a high probability for a big red flag. Right? Because usually there are no fast tracks for becoming a millionaire or wealthy person, right? You need to have a plan, you need to be persistent and so on. So there are many things, right? So I think that I know that there have been many gold scams, not only in Kenya, but in other African countries as well. And I think it's because people have been given like a lot of like not true promises, right?
And realistic ones.
Yeah. So they're not realistic, right? If anyone will tell you that, hey, put the money in today and you will get, I don't know, 50% or 100% out tomorrow or more, this is a big red flag.
Right.
Yeah,
so someone who's promising they control the world market.
Exactly. I would run away. I would never trust these people, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing, what is concerned about gold itself is that there are a lot of gold mining in different African countries.
Right.
And most of these African gold minings are not regulated, right? So in that case, you can never be sure if the gold that you're buying is true or not, right? So what we at Aufort do is that we are cooperating only with LBMA certified gold refineries. LBMA means London Bullion Market Association. This is the highest gold standard in the world. And there are only 64 LBMA certified gold refineries in the world.
Oh, okay, interesting to know.
Yeah, so we're only cooperating with them.
Yeah.
So this gives the confidence for our users that the gold is real gold. You can't imagine, I've received so much phone calls and emails from different African people and companies who are offering me buy gold from me.
And you're like, excuse me, who are you?
Like I've asked, do you have the LBMA certification?
No.
and there the conversation ends.
Right, you never hear from them again.
Actually, do you know what is very interesting? Most Kenyans don't know, but it was last year, I think November, Kenyan government published legal public tender to open the gold refinery in Kenya. Most people haven't heard about it, but it was a public tender. And I would be really also interested in helping Kenyan government to open the gold refinery here in Kenya, but my only recommendation, my major recommendation would be LBMA certified, because this does show the real gold. Right. It's secure, and I think on international level, a lot of investors, because of that, will come here.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're looking for, and you've got to have an international standard in order for people to play with you. Right. Okay. There was a question that had come in before, and I think even we threw this to you about explaining more about the blockchain-based platform. You've talked about how transformational it is and this tool. The benefit for the end user, perhaps you can expound a little bit more on that. I've been asked to throw that to you, even if you did mention it earlier on. So go right ahead.
Yeah. So I previously mentioned it earlier. So. Let's make it easy. There are basically two database systems in the world. One is like Excel-based database, which can be really easily manipulated, deleted, and it can be fraudulent. The other option is the 21st century solution, which is blockchain. So blockchains are also different. There are centralized blockchains and decentralized. So centralized blockchain means that only one certain organization is controlling the database. We are not using that. We are using decentralized blockchain. So this means that this database is locating in thousands of computers across the world. So if it needs to be taken down, all the computers need to be taken down. So this kind of decentralized blockchains, they are not changeable. You cannot manipulate with them, and they're very secure and transparent. So, and all these transactions, if people have bought gold, if people have sold gold, if people have transacted gold between each other, these transactions are stored in this public database. But if you go to every one of us can go to this database and look what transactions have been made. But nobody knows who is behind it, right? Only our company knows, because we have integrated with this technology, right? So this gives people the option to, or the security, sense of security, that their gold is safe. Because all the transactions can be proven on a public decentralized database. And this gives like the transparency, because our company wants to be fully transparent in all activities that we do. And also very interesting fact is that we're also backed by the Estonian government, which is one of the highest digitized nation in the world. We have only 1.3 million people, but can you imagine, we have in the whole country, we have a bit more than 1 million people. But we have 10 unicorns. So Unicorn is a company which is worth more than $1 billion. And one of the most well-known unicorns in Africa is actually Bolt. Bolt is from Estonia.
Wow. And here it is every day in our lives.
It is, actually.
I didn't know that. Thank you for that piece of information. Interesting fact there. I just want to throw some quick ones at you in the next 5 minutes that we have. And I believe these are frequently asked questions, FAQs, if you will. This one I like because it's just been sent to me from a Ben on Facebook, who says, what does one require to sign up with a platform such as Aufort? And pretty much, are there any requirements? And this is also a good time for you to give a disclaimer that you will not be charging X amount, or you will be requiring this and this and this in order for you to start saving or buying gold.
So let's start with that we are not cannot give any recommendations for investments, right? Every person has to make their own decisions, right? So we can just say that we enable easy access for gold if people see the value of it and they want to use it for their own benefits, right? So we can't give any investment advice. And people are often asking me like, where gold is heading now, or what will be the projection for the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 months or years, right? I don't know. It depends on the demand, it depends on the inflation, it depends on the economies and many things, right? So if people want to use our platform, you can do so well by going to aufort.africa. And then you can sign up. Actually, the good news is that we also have a gift for all these people who are currently looking at us.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you're using codes in the cart, K24, you can get 50% discount from our first purchase service fee.
Oh, okay.
And if you do that, then on the top of that, we will send you $5 worth of gold as a gift, as a seed investment from our side.
Oh, how lovely. You did tell me you were coming with gifts.
I didn't tell that.
You.
This is a surprise.
From Estonia with love. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I think that's a great way to encourage people to actually sign up. Thank you, but let's hope they do sign up. Please do, please do. Another question here is, I like this one about what makes Aufort trustworthy, because there are other players in the field. What would you say gives you the cut above the rest?
I have mentioned quite many facts already today. The fact that we are backed by the Estonian government. The second fact is that we are using blockchain, which is a secure and transparent database. The third fact is that we are not holding the gold ourselves. So if the company should go down tomorrow, gold is still in the vault and customers can access it, right?
Right, so it's beyond Aufort.
Exactly, we are just purely the technology provider that enables easy access.
Okay.
The fourth fact is that we are the member of the FinTech Association of Kenya. Right, which very highly look at all the companies who want to take part in this association. So we have gone through very strong compliance in that sense. We have integrated with M-Pesa. One of the former government members, Michael Onyango, is one of our board of directors.
Okay, great.
He was the former vice president for blockchain and AI technologies for the Kenyan government. So we have quite many things that prove that the company is trustworthy.
Right. What are your rollout plans? I know you've talked about having a couple of those workshops, but really getting on the ground so that you're creating some sensitization of some sorts around gold as an asset, so that you're changing people's perception on what to invest in. So what are your, on-ground, grassroots level type of plans, if you have any, that is?
Yeah, we have many plans, and we are currently still like in a soft launch phase. We are testing different assumptions, different customer segments and groups, different messages, right? We want to understand who is the good user from Kenya, right? Because you can have many assumptions, but you don't know it before you don't test, right? So we are currently in a very interesting position, and we are ready to discuss different partnerships with different companies to test different strategical partnerships. For example, we are currently in negotiations with one of the biggest influencers platform in Africa. Who is considering to start paying their influencers in gold.
Oh, nice. Right? Okay.
So we're testing different things. It's very interesting time, if you come to the market and you're looking your position and different partnerships and things like that.
Fantastic. But your final message to the youth on how to invest wisely and even consider gold as an asset. Young people probably don't, think about this. When you're under 25 or under 30, you're like, last thing on my mind. What would you like to tell young people as we say kwaheri?
My message for all people, especially to young people, is that take it easy. Yeah. Right? And think about for the longer run as well. Of course, it's important to live well today and think about how to maximize the gains today. But it's good to have the stability and sense of security for the long run as well. I've been also like 25 years old, and I've tried to make like fast cash and listen to the unpromised big gains and so on, and lost some money. This is normal process of life, right? But the good news is that we can listen to these people who have already gone through, and we can take their advice, because life has to be balanced. Right. We need to be living well today. We need to be living good tomorrow, and also after 10 years plus, right? Right.
Thank you so much for that. But it's been such a pleasure having you in studio. Go well, and we also want to wish Aufort all the best as you continue to penetrate this market. I'm sure you've tweaked some interest in some of our viewers who are interested in understanding different investment portfolios. And I hope, by the way, the message is clear that there are options out there. I love it that now these kind of things are accessible to the average person. And so there you have it, Brett Ken Ken Rodberg, the founder and CEO of Aufort, with us. Please continue to carry on this conversation through our social media platforms, even as we say kwaheri. All right, have a blessed day up ahead. We're going to leave Sarah Ibrahim and Ann Stella coming up next on Interactive. Bye-bye.